This is Jess, part 2 of disassembling the Ram 3rd generation sun visor. In part 1, kind of showed you how to get this all apart, how to separate that, but I didn't get to cover, because we got lucky with the clip coming out when we popped it open, covering actually getting this out if it doesn't pop out like it did for us originally in the first video. So I'll get the camera down here so you can kind of see. But as you can see here, this little section right here is where these two little clips pop in there. So this is coming from the outside. You can see how they pop in there and it stays locked. Okay, so generally what I ended up doing to get this out, because it normally wouldn't pop out when you open it up, is I would hold this open or prop it open with something wide, use my screwdriver down here and get it lined up so I could push on one of these feet to try to pop that out, and then put some pressure with your other hand while you slightly pull it out while you're doing it. Can take a little bit of work, but the main thing is you're trying to avoid breaking anything if possible. So again, you may just have to work it, finesse it a little bit, but once you kind of get it close, you should be able to see it or feel it starting to wiggle out. Yeah, it looks like we're getting close there. You possibly might be able to get up in here if you've got enough room as well. But it can be a little tough to get these things out. Probably the toughest part of any of this, while trying to get these apart, is getting this section out here. The hard part is doing it without breaking it. As you can see, it's difficult here too. There we go. And you can kind of pop them out there and finally get that thing to come out of there. But you want to be able to reuse that. But if you do break one, because I did break one, what you can do too is just go to your local junkyard or whatever, pick one up pretty cheap. As far as the rest of disassembly, like I said, here, if you just pop that clip up, these wires will just kind of come right out of there. You can take it out of this, kind of move this stuff out of your way so you can work. And I'll kind of go in a little bit more here to show you what I can as far as this. So as I explained before, you got all these little plastic nubs that have been melted over, which hold your mirror and lid on this back side in there, and the same with this light. Generally what I do is I just use my soldering iron here, melt this plastic up a little bit, kind of separate them best you can. And some of these you can see I've already worked on. Sometimes you can use pliers if you got enough of them out there to kind of separate everything. But just kind of quick little strokes around these edges to kind of get some of that extra plastic up out of the way. So if you've never really messed with plastic much or tried plastic welding with your soldering iron, definitely look up some of the how-to videos on it. Put it back together. When this goes back together, you can use a hot glue gun too, to kind of get rid of or to seal everything back together. Be careful here as best you can. Some of these you can see that I already kind of took apart, just to keep the video time down here a little bit. And I'll work on this a little bit more here. You're all with me. You can fast forward here. But once you kind of get that worked around, you can start pushing and create yourself a little room back there so you can get a little bit of pressure with your backhand, just grabbing it around on this back side now, so you can put a little pressure and get the top loose. And you might get a post on the front side that breaks too. Like I said, don't fret. It's all plastic, so a lot of that stuff you can always just put back on there. Keep working that. You'll have them pop here before too long. They'll pop out of there. Yeah, there you can see that one kind of popped out. Put a little more pressure here. See if I can get this one on the back side to pop. There we go. Yeah. And now we just kind of got the rest here. Work on it the best you can. And then it works. You can kind of maybe get a screwdriver back in there, create a little more pressure for yourself. And as you start taking this stuff apart, there we go. That one popped. There we go. Yep. That one popped. Let's just kind of get this down in there. Create a little more pressure for ourselves as we work on that, get those things to pop out of there. There we go. Got them to pop out of there. Okay. Get some of the fabric out of there. So, as you can see, there it is. Got them all out of there. Your posts are still there, so you still have some material when you put it back together to glue it back in if you want to. I have seen some differences. This being an 09 is a little bit different than an 07 that I was working on recently, where this one just had a single round hole where the light plugged in. So on this one, obviously you're going to have to get rid of the little plastic tabs there. I already did it on one side, but kind of the same thing. And like I said, when you put it back together, glue gun or something will hold this stuff just fine. That a little bit. Some pliers too, always going to help. Now it's softened up a little bit. Put a little more heat on that thing. There we go. Pop that right out. Okay, so depending on what you want to do, these things here can be kind of a real bugger to get out if you want to replace the bulb sometimes, and try to do it without breaking. What I found works real well is getting a little tiny jeweler screwdriver down in here, where you can really just work it down in there and pop it loose. For the mirror, obviously here's your mirror. It's generally just has this one tab right here with some plastic on it that I just kind of try heating up on the back side to bend up. And got the dogs coming in. Use my fingernail there and just kind of rub it across there, kind of warm that plastic. Oh, there it is. Plastic up a little bit so you can bend it. There you go. That way you still got your tab there if you want, when you go to put it back in, tape it in. There you go. So now you can see that that's in there. Don't have much to go. Pops right out. There's that. And then, like I said, you want to take this cover off right here. These little black tabs kind of have a spring foot where the hinge is. So if you put some pressure on the back, you can work it out of there. Use some pliers on this bad boy. These needle nose will help sometimes too. Put them up here so you can get a little pressure. There we got one there. And there you go. That part. These pretty much just pop out or push out. And there you have it. Okay, and the last part bulb, like I said, jeweler's screwdriver usually works really well. And if you can just get one of these small screwdrivers, I just pop her down in there and just kind of pry and work. Obviously, you don't want to work too hard because it'll break. And there you go, and then you can get your little bulb out. And you can replace it with your LED. So in my case, that's what I'm doing. Changing the color, painting everything black, putting in a new LED bulb, and then I recovered this entire thing with headliner fabric, and it was just fabric from Joann's. So this stuff here comes off really easy. Basically, it kind of melted a little bit of plastic over the top of the fabric, but pretty much you can start just about anywhere. Just start pulling this up. Some of it might have to use a pair of pliers or whatever, but then this whole thing peels off, and then you just have your template, and you can lay on top of your new fabric, pin it down and cut around it, or trace it out however you want to do it. And in my case, when I put the new fabric on, I just actually used a hot glue gun down in here and a screwdriver, and I just kind of pressed it tight as I worked my way all the way around the whole thing. But there you have it. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Obviously, when you put it back together, one of the things you're going to have to worry about or pay attention to is the polarity for your LED bulbs. You know, they have to be the right polarity. So if you go back and look at this here, you'll be able to see your ground and your hot wire right there where the power's coming from the rest of your plug-in from this side, from this here. So, yep, got any questions? Post a comment, let me know, and I'll answer them the best I can. Thanks. Have a good day, guys.